Hi, welcome to our first podcast for Truth Hidden Among Hearts. This is our character creation session. So why don't we go around the table and have everyone introduce themselves and their characters?
Sure, yeah. My name is Dave. I am playing a character named the Professor, or Professor. He is a mendicant stoic of the Order of Weavers who listens to the whispers. He was an associate professor at Oxford in the Shadow, and he is, I think, still clinging to that dream quite a lot. He's not sure how to take in all of the actuality, and he needs to know more about how it started and what makes this real versus the Shadow. So he spends a lot of time in the library studying and researching and just trying to find out the secrets that run this world. Consequently, he has let himself fall apart a little bit and doesn't associate with a lot of people and is, in fact, quite poor. He sleeps in the library most of the time.
Well, that's something to follow. My name's Adam, and I will be playing 11th Street, which is actually where my character lives. Not so much his name, it's just how people know him. And he is a connected gallant of the Order of the Makers, who hosts a legion. So he's got a couple voices in his head, and occasionally likes to share them. But he lives in an old abandoned subway that is kind of run down and not really connected to anything. So that's sort of his first goal here, is to see if he can fix up them pipes. And not really sure what he's going to be focused on after that. He's just sort of, I think, more of a spur-of-the-moment character. As far as the actuality goes, it's all just kind of one big magical party, I think. Yeah, we'll see kind of where the winds blow this character, I think. He's a bit of a bigger fellow. In Shadow, he was a pipe fitter. Yeah, he's sort of a blue-collar guy, and I don't know. We'll see what happens to him. See where he ends up.
Hi, I'm Kat. I am playing Only Rachel, your friend Only Rachel, a bizarre empath of the Order of Goetica who speaks with the moon. Only Rachel lives in a giant mailbox, to which giant mail is sometimes delivered. Rachel doesn't know how the mail gets there or how the mail leaves her house, but some of it is for her. She likes to get mail. She lives up there with a cat. The cat sees everything. Rachel's primary goal, especially when it comes to her work for the Order of the Goetica, is to make friends with everyone. All the things, including things that are not widely considered friendly or sentient or real. And that's... No snickering. I didn't snicker during yours.
No, I'm just thinking of, the demons in my head. How many of them do you want to befriend? Okay, sounds good.
100% of them. My friend is Only Rachel's honorific. That's how Only Rachel likes to be addressed, because she wants to be friends. Not only with the party members, and with the demons in their heads, and with the demons around them, and with the objects in her environment, but also with you, the listener.
Meta.
Podcast right.
I like it.
My name is Lisa, and I play Malin, an aromatic spirited of the Order of the Vance, who turns tales into reality. And Malin lives in a giant pop-up book, and the pop-up pages are actually the rooms in her house. It's kind of like, almost as though when you enter it, you turn into a 2D character. So traveling between rooms is complicated.
Say it. You turn into a Paper Mario, Lisa.
Okay, fine. I thought you'd call me out on a podcast crying for that. Anyways, Malin in Shadow used to be a librarian, and obviously still has a ridiculous affinity for books. And basically, she doesn't have a lot of friends, kind of a homebody, so she wants to meet people and be part of a big story that someone will someday tell.
All right. So, the way this session's going to work, this isn't our first actual play session, this is just character creation. So, we're going to start with someone. We're going to probably start in the same order that we did things, so we'll start with the professor. So, Dave, we don't need anything from you right now.
Hooray!
Bye, Dave.
I have to go get a snack or something.
Bring me donuts.
But the first question for everybody else is, well, normally I'd be asking who are your neighbors, but you don't actually have a house.
I do not.
Way to break the game, Dave.
So, you typically crash in libraries. I imagine that you have a favorite, and we'll work from there.
All right.
So, let's start. What's the name of the library you crash out most frequently?
Oh gosh, it's probably something relatively regal sounding. I bet you it's something like the Prime Archive.
Cool. So, we're going to design a couple of other people who frequent the Prime Archive.
Okay.
You guys can go nuts.
There is a family of mice living in the children's section. They do speak human language. They do speak English. They're very nice.
Okay. Family of mice.
You guys kind of have a mutual agreement not to rat each other out. Also, that's a slur. Don't say that.
I believe that the ghost of a former librarian wanders the shelves, putting books ever so slightly out of order because she hates the new librarian.
Love it. Perfect.
Wait, what was her name?
We will figure out the... so, we're going to ramble off a bunch of suggestions,
Okay.
and then we'll pick a couple of them, and elaborate more on them.
Okay.
Everyone's looking at you now, because you haven't said anything yet.
Yeah. I was thinking of a different joke. Can the basement be the subprime archive? But anyways,
That's good.
it needs... I mean, it's a library, so it needs some sort of caretaker, like a janitor, who just really isn't that interested in his job, I don't think. Right?
Alright. Disinterested janitor.
Maybe he's more interested in the people that come and go from the library.
And his rival, also at the library, is a small Roomba-esque robot.
Yeah, his job is being threatened,
Yes.
right? He's going to be replaced when the machines take over.
The morning shift librarian is always in a good mood, likes to sing to herself, does not notice the professor because that's a thing about the professor.
Like quirk.
Yes. But usually spends a lot of time before her shifts just fixing misshelved books that she can find. She loves her work and she loves all the people who come to the library. It's a beautiful place. And when you stand up from the desk and she does notice you, she always says a cheerful hello.
Okay, want to get maybe two more, and then we'll pick some?
I kind of like the idea of semi-sentient objects. So, can we put Clippy in the library? It looks like you're looking for help with
He's a
interpersonal
terrible-
relationships.
Okay, I'm just going to put down Clippy.
Yeah.
Looks like you're looking for help in interpersonal relationships.
That section is this way.
Can I give
Such
you a
as
hand
that
with
way.
Clippy doesn't have hands, so he's not really pointing.
Right? Just like nods.
Point his giant eyeballs.
Yeah.
And also, I think there should be at least one research student who's there, like, every day, all the
24/7.
time.
Yep.
But he's the shusher. He shushes everybody. He takes pride in shushing.
Sharp and succinct.
Alright, so now we need to narrow down this list to two. So we have a family of English-speaking mice, a librarian ghost that goes around and rearranges things. We have a disinterested janitor and his Roomba rival. We have the cheerful singing librarian in the morning. We have Clippy, And we have the student researcher who likes to shush people.
Arguably, I would argue that if they're together, student researcher likes to shush the librarian who's humming.
See,
Is there a package deal?
I like both of the librarians. I like spiteful ghost librarian and too cheerful librarian she hates.
I kind of like the ghost, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, the ghost librarian. Do we want the singing librarian for the other one, or do we want two librarians? We can do whatever.
But one
This
of
is
them's
our
dead.
podcast.
I
One of them
imagine
is dead.
we'll also encounter them more often.
Oh yeah,
Or the
the
professor.
dead one. The reason she's messing things up, she hates the singing.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
That works.
We have a couple of librarians. Sorry, Clippy. Maybe another time.
We can
Oh,
put
I'm just going to suggest that one for every
We should do it.
location.
we can put the quality of shushing on the ghost librarian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
It sounds like the pipes are shushing her while she's humming, you know.
So, now we elaborate a little bit more on the two librarians we've chosen. Let's start with what their names are.
Rebecca.
Inside joke.
What's that
Podcast
website?
crime.
Which one? Dungeons?
Yes.
I got nothing, man.
I mean, names in the setting can be anything you want.
Adam's turned around to face the game wall so he can
Yes.
Kaiser Soze up a name.
Yes.
Just thought I'd express that to the microphone.
I feel like the old lady is Boko.
Boko.
Boko? Cool. Okay, so Boko, and what's the name of the happy singing morning librarian? Madame Nessie.
That works.
I was looking at the Mansions of Madness box.
There you go. Good. See, the good inspiration.
Cool. So we have these couple librarians that have a bit of a rivalry. That sounds great. Next up, we talk about a few things that are happening, or a few other spots in the area. So a few other spots that the professor will encounter.
Okay, so this is where we get the subprime library.
It has much worse rates, yeah.
Can I
Subprime.
kind of modify that a little bit?
Go for it.
There's a sandwich shop near the library that is called the Subprime Archive.
I love it.
Yes.
Subprime sandwich shop.
Yeah.
What else is around there? Can be like any kind of building.
The
Not-
sandwich shop.
I feel like a really anachronistic nightclub. Why is that next to the library?
They don't have zoning laws here.
The
It's
ghost
just,
hates
cool.
it so much.
Yeah.
Next door nightclub.
That'll be the name of it, too.
next door.
Oh, that's nice. The nightclub next door.
Yeah.
Like, still attractive, but in like an approachable way.
It's like the nightclub that's been your best friend for so many years. You never even realized how attracted you were to it.
Yeah, you like finish each other's sentences.
Sandwiches.
Okay, let's get even just one or two more of these.
I was thinking, what's near a library? Obviously, public art. That no one knows what the hell it's supposed
Sure.
to be. Maybe it's just
Stack of balls.
I'm just gonna say,
Yes,
can we make
silver
this?
balls.
Can we make this a local deep cut and just have just like a big old stack of
of silver balls.
of silver balls?
No one knows how they got there, why they're there, but
They're there.
they're there. A couple benches, I don't know.
And
We
maybe
call
like
them the Talon balls.
maybe they just like they've never been formally acknowledged as art, but everyone just assumed that they were because they don't make any sense.
Yeah,
They just
Like
saw
some-
that and they were like, "That must be art," because I
Someone just-
can't think of what the hell else it is.
someone just dropped them off, and it's like, oh, new art installation, cool.
Yeah.
So, remember when we're doing these that this is a world where magic is commonplace?
I was going to say they're
Okay.
actually dragon eggs.
Let's go back, take another look at these three, and we can fantasy them up a little bit.
Okay.
Upside down nightclub.
Fantasy
Oh.
Subway.
Okay?
Stop that.
Are the subs made of your fantasies?
I assumed they were made of fantasy creatures.
I mean, you can get that as a sauce.
Fantasy sauce?
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of like that.
No, it's not a jizz thing, Lisa. You're gross. The sauce is literally made of just like your fantasies and your dreams and the things that make you feel hopeful for the future. And they put that on the sandwich for you.
I have a question. What does
Gross.
What does the Thousand Island taste like?
Just
Just like real Thousand Island.
Okay, not ordering that there.
I promise to stop saying jizz. Scout's honor.
It's okay, we're gonna delete this anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if
Whatever.
we formally introduced it.
But we can splice that part out and get rid of the rest.
I mean, we could, but we're not gonna.
Right? I like it. This is who we are as people, and you're
Yeah,
gonna have to get to know us.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If they think we can make it through a whole campaign without saying jizz,
They don't know who they're dealing with.
Maybe we're just getting all the jizz out of the beginning.
I'm disappointed.
I was just gonna say, I've heard that excuse a couple of times before. I'm not gonna fall for it again.
Oh, shit.
Not in my hair. I have a gate.
okay.
I should never get into gross fights with Lisa. I know she's gonna win.
So, back to the public art.
Yes.
So, public art that nobody gets.
Yeah.
But is it in fact totally indecipherable? Like, could someone sit there and try to get it and understand that it definitely has meaning, but they're incapable of comprehending it?
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
And it's close enough to the Upside Down nightclub that if you look at it from upside down, it's maybe a different thing.
Yeah, you see one thing going in, and then when you leave the club, it's something else. And you're like, didn't that used to be different?
So I'm going to change no one gets to no one can get.
Yeah. And I want to leave open that this is not actually an art installation, but something else entirely. But people assume because it is just there being mysterious in public that it must be art.
Yeah, this is like social engineering. It just, as long as you behave as though you're
Yeah.
supposed to be there, no one questions it.
Just like that time somebody put a toilet in a gallery. I mean, it was a statement on how context contributes to people's appreciation of art.
This wasn't like Banksy or anything, was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, art. So, like, everyone's, no, this is weird and in public. I think it's art, probably.
Do we want to talk now about what it actually is, or should we discover that later on?
I like to discover that later on.
Cool.
Yeah, we can see. See if it comes up.
Take suggestions from the audience.
So I'm just going to leave all of those in.
I have a lot of hidden knowledge. Can I know what that is?
Maybe. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll come back around to that. I haven't decided.
I like that just, like, the professor has such a depth of knowledge that now the professor even gets the art piece.
Actually, you know what? Yes. You know what it is. Feel free to tell us later. I don't need to know.
Whenever you tell someone, they assume it's a metaphor, and they just nod like, yeah, man, that's deep.
Yeah, you try to explain it, but nobody gets it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's not art. And they're like, yeah, I know. Like,
You mean
Art
like...
is subjective.
Oh, man, but, like, are we all really dragon eggs? No, like, it's literally a clutch of, no, like, literally, yeah, I get it.
I get it. It's the demon inside of all of us. Yeah, it makes total sense.
no, there's a demon inside. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and use all of those, because why not? The last thing is a couple of events or things that are currently happening in the area. So it gives some examples. There could be, like, political strife, or there could be rumors about a thing, or there could be mysterious graffiti, or whatever. Just a couple of things that are present. They're not a location, but there's something that's happening around.
Now, you guys vetoed my earlier suggestion of a rival sandwich shop and a war between sandwich shops. But I think that a magical, constantly escalating war between sub-shops is real good.
Okay, I tend to agree. What's the name of the other sub-chain?
So the first one was the Subprime Archive.
Yes.
This one is...
High interest mortgage rates.
I mean, I can write that down. I'm doing
workshop
it.
it. We can workshop it.
No, let's just keep throwing out things.
Okay, alright.
I don't know why you'd name your sandwich shop that. We will discover as we play.
There's a pun in there somewhere.
The Sub-Basement. Don't know why they call it that, because it's all above ground.
Cool, cool.
But eating their sandwiches makes you feel like you're underground and like everything is closing in on you and the light in the world is slowly being obliterated by walls and a ceiling that only you can sense.
And yet people still go to it.
It's part of the experience.
Claustrophobia?
Every so often you want to feel a little claustrophobic.
So one of them makes a sauce out of your fantasies,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the other one makes you feel like you're confined and trapped.
Well, I mean, buried alive, but like in a good way.
So what if that's your fantasy? Then you don't know the difference between the two subgenres.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And you're like, what's the big deal?
And they give you a blind taste test, and you're like, I can't tell.
Which one's Coke and which one's Pepsi?
Absolutely.
You can absolutely tell. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, you can.
Well, the secret is they were all Pepsi, right?
I think
of course.
most of the time.
That was the trick.
That's why in the blind taste everyone picked Pepsi.
Yeah.
Because they weren't given Coke as an option.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
clever.
like Pepsi and stale Pepsi. And then...
This one tastes the best. That's Pepsi. You'll be
I
surprised.
really like that in this context, that somebody hands you, like, both sandwiches make you feel like you're just being slowly obliterated under the crushing weight of miles and miles of earth, and you're like, I guess that was my fantasy. Like, I guess I'm into that. I never knew, but I guess since both these sandwiches taste this way.
Okay, so aside from the escalating sandwich war, what else is happening around here?
I'm gonna stop.
Well, who's hanging out at the nightclub?
That's
Because
a good
nightclubs have crowds.
Yeah.
They've got types. But it's a nightclub next to a library. So...
The nightclub, everything in it is also upside down.
Yes.
Don't know if that affects its patronage.
Bats.
Bats.
Bats are the
So they can feel like they're right side up.
Yeah, so they feel like everything is regular.
I was gonna say rock climbers?
But like, there's like a gang of bats that kind of hangs out outside, hassling people.
We can put... I'm writing down Gang of Bats.
Gang of
Yeah.
bats, that works.
Is there anything else we wanted to have for this one, or we can move on?
I mean, we can always figure stuff out as we go.
All right. Now what we need to do is say, hey Dave, which of those suggestions did you like the best?
I definitely liked the Ghost Librarian the best.
Okay, and who made up the Ghost Librarian? So you can, there should be a spot for valuables, something like that. You can add a wicked key.
There are prizes? Oh my god.
Yeah,
Try harder.
best suggestion for everyone gets a wicked key.
God damn it.
Oh, I guess I should stop shitposting.
You should
No, that's the
try
point.
harder.
And now the next thing we need to do is figure out this environment's effect on the professor.
Okay.
The Ghost Librarian, it was Boko?
Yes.
How does the professor feel about Boko?
Honestly, I think he understands her. Since he listens to the whispers, I'm pretty sure she is one of the ghosts that talks to him the most often.
Yeah.
I imagine she berates him a lot, but he feels like she's one of the only people he can talk to.
Okay, so you'd call that a positive influence on him?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And the singing librarian that comes in the morning.
Wakes him up, and he does not like her.
That's
your
just a
alarm.
negative influence.
That's why he and Boko get along
Yeah.
so well. They just have a shared mutual hatred of the morning shift librarian.
Okay, Subprime, the local sandwich shop that makes sandwiches with your fantasies as a sauce. Also, like, you can do just, like, mustard or something. That's cool, too.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah.
It's an option.
I think he will go there if he happens to scrounge up enough money for a decent meal. But he will head to the sub-basement more often. They're a lot cheaper, I think. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
And he's sort of learned to embrace it as like it's a morning hug, he'll tell himself. It's cozy.
So the presence of subprime sounds like it's just neutral to you. It doesn't really affect the professor.
No, I don't think so.
The nightclub next door.
I don't think the professor has ever gone inside. It's not his bag, and frankly, he is intimidated that it's not his scene.
So is that Neutral or negative?
I think it's neutral.
No problem. The public art. You know what it is. No one else seems to get it. How does the professor feel about it?
I think the professor quite likes it and likes knowing what it is and that other people don't. It makes him feel smart.
Very good. So that's definitely a positive impact.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't figured out what it is yet, so
That's fine. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. No worries. So the rivalry between the sub-basement and subprime and the sandwich war that's spreading throughout the neighborhood. Does the professor have opinions on that?
He is actually staunchly on the side of the sub-basement. He thinks it's superior and that it takes a refined palate. He really doesn't understand all of the club goers that prefer going to subprime, getting their weird special sauce and then raving up the night or whatever it is they do in there.
Damn kids, get off my lawn!
So, positive, neutral, or negative?
The existence of a rivalry?
Yeah.
I think he thinks it's a positive.
Cool. And lastly, there's a gang of bats that flies around this place. And yeah, they kind of get up in your business. I guess they harass people with kind of aggressive bat dances. I don't know if they've got fingers to snap, but that feels appropriate.
Yeah, like
Yeah. This is like a greaser gang, but bats.
So a greaser gang of bats.
The professor does not like them, but is lucky to be indoors essentially all night, unless he stands up and is kicked out of the library early.
Not surprisingly, the gang of bats is a negative to you.
Yeah.
That means that the total up from your environment is positive.
Mhm.
So you can go ahead and add 1 joy.
Yoy.
So next we're going to move on to 11th Street, someone who actually has a physical location.
Hooray!
Hooray!
So we get to design 19th Street and 13th Street.
I do like 13th Street.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Now,
Yeah.
we established that 13th Street and 13th Street are the same location.
Accessible from opposite sides of the street.
Yeah. It's just both those addresses are occupied by the same space. I would like to propose that the occupant of 13th Street is extremely elderly and extremely cranky, and you're terrified that if a ball goes over his fence, he will keep it and use it to cast a curse on you.
Well, I do live underground, so...
My next question was above or below ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we established that it's a subway, right?
Right.
It's below ground.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of
Yes.
sub things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
We're fishing for sponsorship early, okay? Don't jinx it.
the inhabitant that I'm picturing for 13th Street hates the fact that there's a subway because he's paranoid that it will drive down property values. And if asked to explain exactly how property values work, he will not be able to give you an answer. He will just get mad and call you names.
I mean, that sounds like most people I know, so yeah.
So we have a very grouchy, set in their ways, magic-using neighbor because he's worried about casting hexes via things that end up over there.
He's just the kind of person who's cranky enough that you assume that they're an evil sorcerer. I'm not sure whether that's necessarily,
Okay.
canon.
Sure. Yep.
I propose a family of moles lives nearby, but not necessarily at a location like 9.5th Street sort of thing, where it's actually 2 moles and they're like 15 obnoxious children.
Oh, shit.
But their last name is Vol, so people get them confused all the time with other families that live somewhere else. They just have like the most obnoxious children. There are so many of them.
I just realized that we're all doing this based on what we said last time when the mic was not on. 11th Street lives at number 11, 10th Street. 10th
Yes.
Street is
Yes.
the name.
9.5th Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I've been assuming that our listener will be very clever and figure it out.
I understand that our listener is extremely clever and attractive.
Our one listener.
Yeah.
Which is us.
Yeah, I'm going to re-listen to it later, that's how I know.
I'm not
But-
listening to this. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my voice. Ugh.
I can't get enough of my own voice, as you all well know.
Me too.
So,
I kind of assumed that our one listener would be Terrence. Thanks, Terrence,
Yeah,
for
hi,
listening.
Terrence.
thanks, Terrence.
Here's your shout out.
Pretty good one.
Yeah.
Also, the cranky neighbor is some kind of funny animal.
I live in the Magic Forest, don't I?
Yeah, that's
Can Teen Street be a magic forest?
I like that a lot, actually.
Sure.
Oh,
I
shit.
don't see why
The
not.
character building a subway in the magic forest is very charming.
I was actually about to suggest before it became a magical forest that one of your neighbors is just a large sentient tree.
It's charming as shit. It's mad charming. It's fucking charming.
I mean, in my head, I imagine that he discovered this subway rather than built it, but he's interested in restoring it. But it can still be in the Magic Forest.
But, I mean, yeah, if there's a subway in a forest, that's fine.
Yeah.
This forest is just part of the city, because you're in a district in the city.
Yeah.
But a forest sprung up here.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure why,
It's like Central Park.
and quite possibly the neighbor at 19th Street is just a tree.
Okay.
Any other suggestions for either of the neighbors? Because we should get a few and,
Whittle him down.
well, that's offensive.
Sorry, tree.
Is that racist
You know
or
what, I don't-
speciesist?
I don't get along with them that well, so.
I feel like one of them, somebody should be a regular visitor to the subway station and wait on the platform and eventually huff off mad that the train never comes.
How did you get in my house?
I'm going to put that down for later when we do the things that happen around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could just be a random.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be one of your neighbors in that case. That could be someone completely different. That could be a bunch of people just make the assumption that a train will come through here.
It's a subway station.
I feel like the old guy's a badger. Do you...
Yeah, he's got a badgerish
Badger.
vibe. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a cranky badger vibe. Can I float just a gaggle of Disney princess ass helpful magic woodland creatures that stack up on top of each other and wear a trench coat?
Oh, do they live in the sentient tree, maybe?
That would be charming as hell.
And the tree hates them.
Can we make the cranky neighbor the tree?
Yes.
And he's inhabited by magic creatures he hates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, we've finally made one of the neighbors.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, one of your neighbors is a sentient tree inhabited by a variety of magical creatures who will occasionally throw on a trench coat and masquerade as one normal adult person.
Yeah. And that one's non-negotiable. I'm glad that she's...
Is this 9 or 13?
13.
This is 13.
Street.
It's also 13th Street.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that it's a tree in 2 locations.
Same tree.
Yeah, it's just like around the corner.
If you ask the animals where they live, half of them will say 13th Street, half of them will say 13th Street, in just total discordant mess.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah. It sounds like our podcast.
All right. That's great. We have a neighbor that's absolutely wonderful. Who's the other neighbor? Who lives on the other side?
At 19th Street.
The actual Lady of the Lake from Arthurian legend. 19th Street is a pond. There's a lady who lives in it. She's got swords.
Sure.
She's actually like a swords
I'll put it
dealer.
there.
Yeah.
Like a weaponsmith.
Keeps pulling them out of rocks.
They're made of rocks.
They're made of
Sometimes you're off on the way to visit somebody and she's like, psst, hey, you need this?
It's like that like guy on the side of the road trying to sell you a watch out of his jacket. Where he's like, hey Mac, you want to buy a watch? Yeah. She's like, hey, you want to rule an Arthurian kingdom? No, thank you.
She's just got a maxi dress she's pulling fucking claymores out of. Like, there you go.
I feel like that's actually pretty inspirational for your character.
Right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The subway station is enough for me. I can't. Camelot, come on. Like I've got enough on my plate right now.
I just made my own.
One day you walk past and there's just like a tray full of squares. And she's like, here, I thought you'd like these. And I mean, they're good. They're good squares. She's a good baker.
Oh, I wasn't sure what you meant by squares at first.
Big squares.
Just rocks.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft.
Yeah.
Voxels, yes.
Okay,
Midnight Moments.
let's get one more idea here, and then we'll narrow it down.
A lone midnight wind chime. You've never seen it,
It's like
but it lives there, and it
Yeah.
makes noise at midnight.
it's just hiding somewhere in.
In 19th Street.
I think everyone else has seen it.
Oh, and I can't find the fucking thing.
Yeah, you never met your wind chime neighbor. Everyone else
Okay.
is like, oh yeah, I know the chime next door.
Oh yeah, Lady Bells. Yeah, no, I've met her.
Lady
she's
Bell,
great.
now she has a name.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cute.
Yeah, charming lady.
Literally, she uses magic to charm people.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
She's roommates with the Lady of the Lake.
twins and no one can tell them apart, or what?
Okay, so for neighbor ideas, I think we all liked the tree inhabited by magical woodland beings who wear trench coats and pretend to be a single adult human.
Yes.
For the other side of things, we do have the Lady of the Lake sword salesman.
Yep.
We have the chime, the midnight wind chime, Lady Bells.
I like her. I like her.
And we have the pair of moles and their 15 kids. The Vole family.
Yes.
Whole family. Yeah.
So which one of those do we want in 19th Street?
I vote for chimes.
I dig the chimes.
I am on board with chimes.
Alright. I'm going to save Lady of the Lake to use somewhere else.
Agreed.
Because that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to live nearby that lady.
Some days I go to work and I just wish somebody would give me a sword.
Well, it would be bad news.
It's just like,
I have a sword. I'm just not supposed to take it to work or out in public, I think. Probably.
you stagger out, you've got your breakfast in one hand and your bag in the other, and you're like, am I really ready to face another day? And then the strange lady next door hands you just this big ass fucking Excalibur, and you're like, yeah.
Now I'm
Now
ready to
you-
face
Yeah,
the day.
Yeah.
And then with your other hand, you kind of cram the rest of your toast in your mouth, and you're like, "Girl."
It's like instead of coffee.
I've started envisioning the Lady of the Lake as not being at a lake. She's got like a bucket. She's homeless. And she just pulls swords out of her bucket.
That's charming. I love it. I'm charmed by it.
But when it rains, then she can just inhabit a puddle, and it's like an upgrade temporarily.
Yeah.
Until it evaporates, then she goes back to living in a bucket.
So what's the name of the tree?
Roger.
Okay.
Roger the tree.
What kind of tree is he?
Oak.
Scratchy
Roger
trees.
Oak.
And what name does the gaggle of creatures go by when it's pretending to be a person?
Becky. No.
Inside joke.
Ding, ding.
Eris.
Eris? Alright.
Or some variation thereof. I like to think that they forget, so sometimes they're Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always like an air-ish name.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely Eric sometimes.
Here, I'm just
I
putting
think it
down
depends on who's the head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
air-ish.
Yes.
is
Air-
what
Air
it
dash
is to me.
ish.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. Next up, what are some other buildings that are in the neighborhood, somewhere around 10th Street? You guys theoretically all have a bit of distance between you, so maybe a Sandwich Shop Wars hasn't reached 10th Street yet. It hasn't reached your district.
Fair enough.
That's Eric's way of saying stop saying fantasy subway. Message received. Fantasy booster juice.
In case you
feel
need a boost.
I was actually thinking that booster juice in this situation was more of a needle situation, like a booster shot.
Oh, like right in the
Only-
butt there. Just
yeah.
like,
Yeah, where you
Yeah.
go in and they give you
Bugs.
a needle of like energy in your butt that's kind of like a juice, and then
Yeah.
you wander on your day. And that sounds terrible, just exceptionally terrible.
I mean, I'm gonna put this down under the ideas. Butt needles.
Butt needles. Yep.
Uh,
Good start, guys. Good start.
But I'm hoping we have a few more choices.
Okay.
Okay. I got one. I think there is a lumber yard nearby that subsists entirely on twigs and branches that have been thrown by the tree or dropped by the tree at...
By Roger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Roger throw things at passersby?
Oh yeah,
I
no,
guess
he's
so.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's so cranky that you think he might be an evil sorcerer.
They also double as a they collect. What do oaks have for seeds? Do they have acorns?
Acorns.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They collect the acorns and make sure that Roger is not reproducing.
Oh no!
It's very serious. That's serious business.
There might be a black market for his seeds.
I was just trying to come
Yeah,
up
what
with
do they
cock
do?
blocking, but for trees.
I think that was it. Acorn blocking.
Filthy. I'm gonna keep with my my kind of British Isles affair here. There's a fairy ring. Like a straight up, just like, don't go in there or you'll dance forever and be sucked away to the magic land of these sparkly idiots. Fairy ring. It's a nightclub, basically. It's a nightclub that is unavoidable and unescapable.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's another nightclub.
Yeah, but this one's really kind of like half nightclub, half hostage situation.
That's all hostage situation.
It's also half nightclub. The music and the food are very good. Don't eat the food, you'll be stuck there forever with the sparkly idiot.
Persephone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lots of mints, but... I'm like, it's marked, but the signs do keep getting vandalized because the fairies are pretty sure they can trick some people into coming to their rad magic forest nightclub.
Cool. Fairy Ring Entrapping Nightclub it's down on the list. Anything else we want to add on?
The name of it is I Promise You Can Leave If You Want.
Sure.
You guys want to go to I Promise You Can Leave If You Want? No, I don't!
Nope.
Okay, what about like a school in this district?
There's a park, so.
That'll bring up property values. Roger would like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like having kids around.
He hates
Yeah.
them, yeah. He
He's just a
definitely
dick.
hates kids.
Yeah. He wants the school, but to be empty.
Don't we all?
Or what if it's like a school of fish?
Okay.
A fish school.
But, like, not like a school of fish, but like a school, like a finishing school for young fish that teaches them to fish. To be fish.
To be sharks.
Yeah.
What
No,
if it's a school for fish as a second language?
I was going to say a school that teaches people how to be fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they go in people or animals or pixies or what have you, and this is kind of a pixie neighborhood, and you don't like to refer to it as such, but like
Oh, man.
the magic forest is where lots of pixies live. They go in and they learn to be fish, and if they do a good job in school, they...
So this is a mermaid school.
No!
No, it's a school of fish.
It's a mermaid
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
Listen better. Sounds like you don't want to be part of their world.
I mean, I'm not a fish, so.
He doesn't want to move under the sea. That's your solution for everything.
All right.
Unfortunate soul. Sorry. Done now.
Are you sure?
Anything else before we choose these?
Nope.
So, our choices for these, we have butt needles,
Booster juice.
where they inject you with something into your rump to give you a little pep in your step for the day.
Boost your juice.
Horrible.
That's what we'll
Hate
call
it.
it.
No, bad.
Boost your juice, writing it
Vote
down.
against. Hate. Don't like.
Well, good news, it's not in your neighborhood.
This is...
There is something strange, however, in your neighborhood. We just haven't got there yet.
This is true.
So, we have butt needles, we have a lumberyard that seems to exist solely off of Roger, and all of the bits of himself he throws. We have the Fairy Ring nightclub, the I Promise You Can Leave If You Want To. We have the school that teaches creatures how to be fish. I'm going to go ahead and say let's pick two of those.
I feel like this is really a club town. That's what we're doing.
Club/hostage situation. I like the lumberyard. I like that somebody is keeping Roger in check.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
If those are our two, sure.
Yeah.
Those are the two?
It's a magic forest. There's got to be a fairy ring.
Oh, there's gotta, but there is.
Yeah, well, all the things I say are inevitable.
Lumberyard
That's
that
why
exists
I
off of
don't like
Roger,
dressing.
and the fairy ring that can trap you, but is also kind of a pretty cool nightclub, or so you've heard. You've never been. But they promise you could leave if you wanted
You
to.
sometimes dance around past the outside.
It gives off a party vibe just in its neighborhood.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, you get near the ring and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm in the mood for a party. I wonder if there's a place I could party around here. Oh, I see what you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Alright, and then a couple of local events, things that are happening around the 10th streets.
Lady Bell's near constant hitting on 11th Street.
That is a separate thing, but I'm putting it down. Well, no, he's never met Lady Bells.
Oh, I guess. Well, that's what she's doing when she's chiming at him at midnight.
Oh, yeah, but I have no idea where she is.
Yeah, it's like a come hither kind of chime,
Yeah.
but
He's just not picking up what she's
Nightclub.
putting down.
There's a series of mysterious disappearances on nights that the club is open.
The club closes?
You don't know. You've never been.
okay, mysterious disappearances. Cool. Anything else?
A movie theater has opened up that shows only R-rated movies, and the animals are determined.
So, I mean, an R-rated movie theater, I can put it back in the previous category.
I picture
locations.
that being like the inflatable
But-
pop-up movie theater sort of situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a permanent fixture.
But this would be more like if the police are really strict or lenient. Each region kind of has their own little governing bodies.
Cool.
They all listen to the rules of the Deathless Triumvirate, but Saturnine is a very law-light city for the most part. The big things you'd expect to be against the rules are: don't go taking things that don't belong to you. Don't go hurting or killing people.
Yeah,
Those
Roger.
are definitely against the rules.
Chasing.
There's no restrictions on substances of any kind,
Nice.
unless that is something enforced specifically by the local group, but the Deathless Triumvirate does not enforce that.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, there's a citizens' coalition in the Magic Forest that is trying to convince the local police to outlaw various mushrooms. It's the Enchanted Forest. It's lousy with mushrooms of assorted types and assorted magical effects. And the Citizens Brigade has had enough of this. Because, like, some of them are super fun. But some of them will kill a person, and that should probably be looked at. Some of them will whisk you away to an enchanted nightclub full of sparkly idiots from which you may or may not ever be able to leave. And that's not something we want near our children.
I think there's a group of, like, hippie hipsters, if you will, that are trying to move into the neighborhood and sort of gentrify the place.
Oh, shit.
They're trying to, like, turn it into less of a forest and, build up their shops. And I think, actually, Roger and the nightclub sort of work together to get these people out of the way.
To keep a Starbucks from opening up?
Yeah.
Cool. And anything else we want to put on the list? Alright. So do we want to keep all of these mysterious disappearances, the community rallying against specific kinds of mushroom, and hippie gentrification?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's time to go through the list and see how you feel about these things.
Yep.
Oh, first, out of all of these suggestions, which was your favorite?
Oh, the tree.
So who made Roger into a tree?
Wasn't that you, Kat? Oh,
There was a lot of bits of Roger.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suggested
Roger's
the
personality
sentient tree
was
of,
my doing.
Yes, the neighbor, and
Yeah.
you suggested he was the crotchety old man.
I suggested that there was a crotchety old man.
Okay.
Well, then Kat can have this one because
Yeah.
Lisa
Okay.
already has a key. Sure. We'll spread the love.
Plus, I also did come up with Roger's inhabitants.
Yes.
Irish. Now, Roger and Erish.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I mean,
They have positive, a negative, or neutral?
Roger's definitely a negative because he's always throwing shit at people. Irish.
I mean, they're a package deal because they are your neighbor.
Yeah. But you said they're like Disney woodland creatures, so they're always trying to be helpful. So they're... I feel like he would be annoyed. I feel like he'd be like, you know what, just mind your own business. Go back to your tree or whatever the hell is going on over there.
So that side of things is negative to you.
Yeah,
Because Roger's not a whole lot of fun, and
No.
if you don't like Erish, then that is a big combo of don't
No.
like that over
Yeah,
there.
watch out for the tree.
I like Irish.
Of course you do.
On the other side of you, we have Lady Bells, or so you've heard.
Yeah.
You have never met Lady Bells.
That's a neutral, because...
It's a wind chime that you hear a wind chime at midnight.
Where is that damn thing?
Yeah, never seen. Yeah, neutral doesn't really
neutral.
fetch.
Yeah.
Cool. The fact that we put you in an enchanted forest, letting you have opinions on that,
Okay.
because that is not part of your original design. We put you there.
That's fine. I mean... Is he surrounded by the forest on all sides?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just, like, this area is forest. Trees
Okay.
grow here for some reason.
Okay.
The fact that you have found a subway here is quite remarkable.
Yeah. And that's sort of why he moved in. I don't think it's really... Well... It would either be neutral or positive. Because it could be positive in the sense that it's a very, like, secluded, hidden kind of deal, right?
Just how you like your subways.
Well, just how I like my home, maybe.
Okay. So, neutral or positive?
I'm not sure if it's entirely positive, but it's definitely no worse than neutral.
So, neutral or positive?
Huh.
Eric's trying to do
Let's see. Let's make it neutral then.
Yeah. You don't care about it that much.
Yeah, that's forest.
Right. Skipping over butt needles. I did not erase it because I might still use Boost Your Juice. There we go.
I hate
Put a little
it
underline there.
so deeply.
You know it's going in your
Boost your
neighborhood.
juice.
Right?
In your
We
neighborhood.
can reuse some of the ones that didn't get put in people's neighborhoods into other people's neighborhoods. The lumberyard that feeds off of Roger and the bits that he hucks at people.
And make sure he never reproduces.
And make sure
Yeah.
he never reproduces by gathering his acorns.
Well, this one's easy because I'm a maker, so where am I going for supplies all the time? I like it.
Yeah, super convenient. Definitely a positive.
Like, yeah. There's a
Uh,
Rona right over there.
I promise you can leave if you want to, nightclub. The fairy ring that makes people kind of want to party when they go around it?
It would really depend on who the clientele are.
You don't know. Once they go in, you don't see them again.
Okay, so it's not literally a fairy ring. There's a building, or is it?
No,
a
like
mushroom?
you disappear when you
When
enter
you
the fairy ring.
Okay,
Or so you've heard.
I'm really not sure what to make of that. We'll go with neutral on that one.
Yeah, you're just gonna stay away from it and keep your head down on
Yeah,
that one.
I've seen people go in there, but not too many come out.
Okay, I will also underline school that teaches you to be fish. Because it's not your neighborhood, but I liked it.
Yeah.
3 to go. We have, there are mysterious disappearances. They seem to correspond with when the nightclub is open.
That's bad. That's probably Roger, that asshole.
Okay, that is negative, and you
Fucking
suspects Roger.
I feel like I'm not the only one. I feel like Roger's cultivated such a reputation.
He's got a rep. Yeah.
I mean, if Roger really is a powerful sorcerer, maybe he's getting people to go into the fairy ring to be done with them.
Yeah, just go away.
It's his way of eliminating people. Just
Yeah.
go party.
Yeah.
Not on my block.
Go take a load off.
Okay, so that one was negative. The community movement against specific kinds of mushrooms.
They're trampling others' freedoms.
Okay, I was going to ask if you were part of this movement, but it seems you are against
No,
it.
I don't think he would be. No,
You're not a fan of this one. This is negative?
it would either be negative or neutral. I got a lot of negatives so far, don't I?
Nope.
No? Well, let's go with negative on that one.
You know what you have a lot of? Neutral.
Neutral. Yeah, okay, let's go with negative.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Because first it's mushrooms, and then who knows what they're going after next. Gave me a evil homeowners association.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And then we
Definitely.
have the hippie gentrification. So a bunch of people are trying to move in. They're setting up their fantasy Starbucks, or at least trying to.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's second cup. Is that more appropriate?
Maybe.
We'll call it fourth cup.
Fourth cup.
There's a 4-drink minimum.
Your fourth cup is coffee.
Yeah.
The other 3 are alcoholic.
So it's another nightclub, is what you're saying?
It's a day club.
It's a day club. Yeah, okay.
Guys, are we we ever actually going to go to literally any nightclubs? Because
We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, if we
don't
keep making them, I'm going to take you there.
Yeah.
Please not the fairy ring.
Oh, the fairy ring's the one I like best.
know. Yeah.
I
Yeah, we're
promise you
screwed.
can leave if you want.
Yeah.
I like to keep out signs that the fairies are vandals. Someone is vandalizing.
I think Roger's growing leaves that are flyers for. Promise you can leave if you want.
So I think those guys might be a positive. I think he might not mind seeing the place built up a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more on the industry side of things.
Yeah, well, it would also get traffic into the subway eventually. And I think that might be his eventual plan.
Cool. The grand tally of things leaves you with a despair,
Yeah,
because there's one more negative than positive. Woohoo! Cool. We're going to move on to Kat / my friend / only Rachel.
Ooh, yes.
Your house is a little bit odd. You explained it already that you live in a gigantic mailbox that sometimes
Yes.
receives gigantic mail.
One request I'd like to make is that because only Rachel speaks with the moon, I did want it to be the tallest building in the environment.
Okay. Yeah, especially he'll be up on a big-ass post there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only Rachel also kind of has this running bird theme. Didn't mention it before, but she has feathers instead of hair. So, up high. Wants to be up high.
Wants to be up high. All right. Who are only Rachel's neighbors?
A strip mall. I think there are a number of boutique shops, some of which will repeat themselves as you pass by. It's sort of their form of advertising.
Can I float something? I know I'm not supposed to, but I can't stop myself. Mobius strip mall.
Yes,
I love it entirely.
absolutely.
Huh.
Okay.
Just gotta get around to the other side of it, and I'm pretty sure it's the next one over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just over there. No, if we just keep going, it's definitely just around this one.
Cool. Again, it's probably one that I'm going to shuffle to later when we're designing things around it, because the neighbors aren't as much about the buildings as they are about people. We need two people. Pretty much we do people, then buildings or companies or whatever, and then social situations.
There is a little tea shop, and I mean like a little tea shop. It's like knee-high to a regular person, little tea shop. And they serve weirdly little tiny cups of tea, but it's the best tea you've ever had. It's like, mice? No.
Crickets.
Okay,
It's tea.
well, we're already too deep into buildings around the
Buildings,
neighborhood,
yeah.
so let's just do that one.
Just to mess with you, I kind of want to say a beanstalk that, like, every day, like, just seems like it's a little bit taller.
Oh, yeah. It's something that might end up blocking your view.
Rival beanstalk.
Rival beanstalk.
Growing beanstalk, putting it down.
Don't know where it goes.
But it might one day reach the clouds.
Goes to hell.
All the way up there.
Hell is in a lot of places. I'm a goetic.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Hell
what,
is where the heart is.
what other buildings or things are around shops or...
I want to say the simplest, or rather the sign says the most difficult hedge maze, which is actually just like a straight line of hedge rows. They call it a hedge maze. There's a sign there, and it says it's the most difficult hedge maze ever.
Okay. And I'll add on to that and say people attest to the fact that this hedge maze is difficult. But, like, you can see the end.
You can see where it comes
Right
out.
there.
It just can't be that easy. No. We gotta go left.
There's no way it's just a straight
That's
line.
right.
Out of these, let's probably pick two of them. We have the Mobius Strip Mall.
I love that.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We have the Tiny Tea Shop.
I like that a lot.
It's very...
We have the Growing Beanstalk. And we have the Difficult Hedge Maze.
Yeah. I mean, I like them all for sure.
Yeah. Mobius
I think
strip
that
mall.
one's in.
Yeah.
I think my second vote is the tea shop.
I think I'm okay with that. Tiny tea shop?
And the question is, do we just want to have them all? Because I say two arbitrarily.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like those are all great.
Yeah,
Cool.
they don't have to interfere with each other.
So are the hedge maze and the beanstalk, like, part of the same thing? Or are they separate?
I think they're separate. I think the hedge maze is just so simple and straightforward that it can't have anything else around it jazzing it up. It's just straight lines of hedge.
It's not a hedge maze to a beanstalk, because then you know where the end was.
Yeah, like you can see a little sign that says finish. You can see it from the start.
This is a neighborhood of opposites. There are linear things and infinite things. There are huge things and tiny things.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
A miniature tea shop in the vicinity of an enormous mailbox.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are only Rachel's neighbors? We could have a rock person, a paper person, and a scissor person.
I was thinking a rock person, actually. I hadn't gotten to scissors and paper, but I definitely was like, a rock man.
We could have a grizzled detective.
Thinking like a biker dude with lots of tattoos that runs the tea shop, and he's actually kind of nice.
And he can't fit in the tea shop.
He can't fit in the tea shop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his tea shop. He just lives nearby.
Yeah.
And he's like grizzled old biker guy, but it's like a bicycle. But he looks like a biker.
Wait. Can the little tiny tea shop be like he drives a Dickie D cart around, but instead of the ice cream cooler, it's the tea shop? He just like that's where he drives around and like rings his little bell.
But he looks tough.
Oh yeah. Like you wouldn't want to fuck this guy.
Like he's got like a facial scar.
Yeah.
And...
He's got a leather jacket. He's got a patch
Which
on
one?
it.
Like he's a veteran from the war.
Oh yeah, there you
jeez.
go. He's really into tea now.
Yeah, tea's his thing.
Sorry about your damn neighborhood.
What are you talking about? I love it. There's only one thing in this neighborhood I don't love.
It's the beanstalk.
The beanstalk.
Fuck that beanstalk.
Only Rachel's only rival.
I went into this and I'm like, I don't know, I built a character who's gonna feel positively about everything. And I was trying so hard to have him describe that beanstalk, and I was like, I
Found a
can't.
way to ruin it.
I like the idea that there is a trio of roommates that are a rock person, a paper person, and a scissors person.
Mm-hmm.
You see them around the neighborhood, but anytime you go to see them at their house, they're not there. You can't find them when you
They're
want
just
to.
always out.
You're aware that, or Rachel is aware that it's her next door neighbor.
Yeah,
And,
they
and
live
sees
there.
them around, and maybe you see them enter the house, but if you go to the house, they're not home.
Yeah, you watch them. You keep an eye on the front door, and you get down there, and you knock, and they're not there.
No one's home.
No one's home.
How mysterious.
It's very hard to get to know your neighbors that way.
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
Do you have something to ruin Cat's day, or shall I throw another?
Proceed.
Oh,
while I
okay.
flesh out mine.
Giant beanstalk, Tarzan.
Make a really loud,
Yeah.
shouting guy.
So is the giant beanstalk a next door neighbor?
Oh god.
Like the beanstalk itself is the neighbor?
No, I mean designing like the next door neighbors.
Yes.
So in this case, the beanstalk is right next to the mailbox.
Yeah, well, and like this guy just comes and like swings by like Spider-Man every once in a while. This is Tarzan.
So
dude.
okay, yeah, I'll put Tarzan, but we'll probably give him a different name if we pick that one.
Yeah. That was just the inspiration. Just because, there's like big things in the neighborhood, right? So someone's going to be swinging from them.
Swinging across.
Yeah, or maybe base jumping from them. That could work
that
too.
sounds better.
Just a dude with a wingsuit.
One of the guys is a doctor. He's always telling you about how he's a doctor. He's a doctor. We can't quite pinpoint what he's a doctor of. Everything that he says is a little bit different. Sometimes he's a doctor of podiatry. Sometimes he's a doctor of like eyeballs. Sometimes he's like a doctor of architecture. Like you don't know what he's a doctor of.
Can he sometimes be a doctor of thugonomics?
Fun life.
I'm sorry, I'll see
Can he
myself
be a
out.
doctor of Dre?
Yeah.
So we've got 4 now. That's pretty good. We'll end up picking 2 of them because you only have 2 neighbors, probably, unless weird spatial things are happening.
Like
Which-
Mobius strip
I
balls?
mean-
Yeah.
Like, that's fair game, but 2 neighbors is what we try to go with. We have the veteran biker dude who has his little bicycle, maybe tricycle,
Yeah, of course. Those
Uh,
parts are
that pulls the tiny tea shop.
Love it.
We have the rock person, paper person, and scissor person who are never home when you go to check on them.
Those guys got to be wizards or sorcerers or something. They got to
I
be
mean, lots of people.
magic. Yeah.
Like everybody.
We have a Tarzan-like person who swings from the beanstalk. And probably your mailbox, as your mailbox is still higher than the beanstalk. And we have a doctor.
A quote-unquote doctor.
Yeah, for the podcast listener, I did air quotes.
Yeah.
That is my quote voice.
He
I think it came
also made this particularly dark and foreboding face that he makes sometimes. You couldn't see it, listener, but I could, and I didn't like it. I never like it.
Okay, well, I think we absolutely need the tea shop biker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That is locked in. Final answer.
I really kind of like the doctor, too, for some reason.
I do too. He's
Is anyone here a doctor? I'm a doctor.
no. You told me last time you were a doctor of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had your doctorate in, I don't know, massage therapy. How are you a doctor?
Take my card. It says you're a doctor of children's physical therapy? No. Turn it over. Oh, I see.
Says you're a doctor who now?
Doctor Who. Lives in a phone booth? I don't know.
Oh god, is Doctor Who your neighbor? I put a doctor, not the doctor.
Not the doctor.
Excellent.
I like it. Keep it a doctor, but
Yeah. It's
a doctor.
a
Nerds.
doctor.
Yeah.
Are there lockers near here I can shove you
Yeah.
fucking nerds in?
there's a toilet.
He's just hyper aware of the locations of toilets.
All
For security
right.
purposes, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Giving
So we're
privacy.
going with a doctor and
Air
the biker dude. So what are the names of the biker dude and the doctor?
Arthur Doctor.
That's the doctor, or that's both of them?
No, that's the doctor.
That's the
He's
doctor,
a
okay.
doctor.
A doctor, yes.
Yes. Oh my god, that's why he's a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. Arthur Doctor.
Arthur Doctor.
And the name of the tea shop biker dude?
Tiny.
Tiny.
Oh,
Sebastian.
two on the nose.
Sebastian. Bonesaw? No.
Bonesaw! Let's pick something that
is ready. Oh shit!
we'll
it's
pick
Macho
something that
Man.
isn't from Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
It's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Macho Man Randy Savage is a Vizsla. He had been hiding in Shadow.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't make sense. This guy's a veteran. He didn't go to Shadow.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, no, it can't be Macho Man Randy Savage.
Darn.
Sorry.
It can be Hulk Hogan.
Why?
No, it can't.
It
It can't be someone from this world.
What if his name is just Grizz?
Grizz.
Yep. I'm in for Grizz.
He's a Griswold.
And last thing, what's going on in the neighborhood? So there's lots of, we have established there's lots of big and little stuff going on here.
Oh. Easy one. There are mall rats.
Actual
Oh, yeah.
rat.
Actual rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what are they up to?
Just infesting the mall,
Okay.
kind of like.
An infestation
Just
of mall
walking.
rats? Yeah.
Like those little ladies who walk through the mall. That's what the mall rats are doing. They just constantly
just-
walking the mall.
It's their wheel. The mall squeaks.
Oh, I suppose.
I had an old hamster who had an off-balanced hamster wheel, so it would be like squeak thump.
So we have mall rats. Anything else? If I can make a suggestion, because we already have kind of a size theme going on here,
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind if there's just people arbitrarily change size sometimes around here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a sizing issue.
Duh.
That's what happened on the tea shop.
No, he designed that way. That's what happened with
Used
the
to be
beanstalk.
smaller.
Yeah, he used to be smaller. God
I feel like the beanstalk has some sort of mold growth problem.
Ooh.
Oh, is there a nasty mold in the area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Paper mold. Maybe.
What's the mold doing? Is it just there? You can see it started growing on things? Because keep in mind, it can do anything here.
Yeah. one option is to tie it to the size changing thing.
Yeah,
Or
I
it could
think
be
I think
something
it
else.
Sure.
it saps the size of things.
Oh, okay.
Well, how do they get... Like, do things get bigger, or they only get smaller in this neighborhood?
The mold makes things smaller.
Smaller, okay. What makes them bigger, then?
Maybe those mushrooms from that neighboring.
Well, I was going to
Forest.
say tea?
We did argue that it was the most delicious tea.
I think it's just very nice tea.
Just very nice tea? Okay. Other ideas we're looking for?
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to.
No, I know.
Yeah, you stay.
that's okay. You can save them because we got one more to go.
Yeah,
Oh no.
it's good. I'm gonna save them up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the list.
It could be
Welcome back then.
terribly unpredictable weather, because we all know that mailmen don't stop for any kind of weather.
Oh.
So it's just like sunny one minute, and then like thunderstorm the next minute. But the mail still arrives. Yeah,
Yes.
like
hail,
snow drifts,
sleet,
and then
snow, blah
totally.
blah blah.
So we have mall rats, the mold that steals the size from things, and super fast weather changes.
Sure.
Then let's go through. What was your favorite?
Cat's favorite?
Cat's
or
favorite.
Rachel's favorite?
Cat's favorite.
The hedgy base.
Yeah, that
I
is
just like it.
a wicked key for Lisa.
Yeah, I dig it a lot.
Let's go through and find out how Rachel feels about things. The Mobius strip mall.
Likes it.
Great.
Fun.
It's fun and never ending.
Yeah.
They
The
always have
fun
what I
that
want.
never ends.
The fun never ends.
The beanstalk.
Don't like it.
Yes.
Worried about it.
The hedge maze.
Dig it.
Have you ever tried it?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Only Rachel has tried the hedge maze, found it challenging in a satisfying way.
As everyone who goes through it does.
Yeah. Which is something because Rachel can look at it from above and see the solution.
Map it out. Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it from ground level and see the solution. And yet, everyone finds it challenging.
Yeah. No, and fulfilling.
Cool. I'm not even tallying things. I know that you're ending up with a joy.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
But we will go through. So we have your neighbor Grizz. He has the tea shop.
Strong positive. I feel like they get along well, and that like he makes only Rachel feel safer. Like when things in the neighborhood are weird, she'll hang out with her next door neighbor. Like he's a veteran, but he's a really nice guy, so he's reliable. He's reliable.
Arthur Doctor.
Also, like Arthur Doctor is full of surprises, which is something that only Rachel very much enjoys. I feel like Arthur Doctor gets annoyed that Rachel will ask, "So what are you a doctor of today?" And she's not digging at him, like she's genuinely curious to find out what his current doctorate is. Like it's not a slam. She finds it enchanting.
The mall rats. What do the mall rats do in the mall? Why is it an event that there are mall rats here?
I imagine they're racing. They're racing through the mall, and it's like mall
Now we're
racing,
getting there.
where
Yes.
they sometimes elbow you in the back
Yes.
as they're going
I
by.
got
Cars, please, tiny
Oh,
cars.
no. They are a roller derby.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And the answer to that is now like at first it was neutral, but now it is positive because I mean Rachel already liked them all, and now there's something fun to watch.
All right.
Go!
Mid-mall roller derby.
The mold that steals the size from things.
Positive.
May I ask why?
Because things in this neighborhood are always changing size, and that's interesting and peculiar.
All
Unless
right.
it steals the size from your mailbox, and then you can't get giant mail anymore.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah,
Mhm.
You gave him an idea.
Rachel's not sure that's how that works because nothing can stop a mail carrier, not even mysterious shrinking mailboxes.
Not even mysterious shrinkage.
And the super fast weather changes. Weather here is incredibly erratic.
That is a negative. Sometimes the sky clouds over when I'm trying to have a conversation.
You can be mid-sentence and be like, oh, you can't hear me anymore.
And fuck!
You can go ahead and take that joy.
Yay!
One joy for me.
We can move on and tell us a little bit about your house.
Malin lives in a pop-up book, and it's sort of like popped open, and the cover has a door on the front of it. So not the cover is a door, the house is big enough to be a house. Well, the book is big enough to be a house, but the door is on the front of it. So if you go in, you have to kind of flip through pages to get to the next room, and it is...
Just to be clear, the book is standing vertical.
Yes.
It's not like splayed open.
It's not splayed open, nor is it like a tent downward.
Okay.
It is splayed open. This
Yeah.
is why.
Standing on the
Standing
bottom
open.
edge.
Very good. Who are Malin?
Malin.
Who are Malin's neighbors?
A Dracula.
Cool.
Just like a cartoon Dracula who lives literally every vampire stereotype. And the more he's observed, the more people begin to suspect that he's not really a vampire, that this is just kind of how he rolls. But because he takes it so seriously, people are concerned that he'll be sensitive about it. So nobody's really clarified on that score.
I think there's also like a 50s Leave It to Beaver white picket fence family.
I like that.
Oh, and they're always like asking you about your day and stuff because you're a shut-in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a little concerned about their neighbor.
Mhm.
You know, they just want it to be a happy neighborhood.
Wonderful. Anything else?
Is there a nightclub?
We're still on neighbors.
My
Yeah.
neighborhood didn't have a
Still
nightclub
on
because I wasn't allowed to contribute.
We can only run so many nightclubs. We already have more than I'll do.
Well, we can riff on that, and we could put a like London police Bobby in the neighborhood because he'll have a club and he'll wander around at night.
I was actually going to say that there's like a night spelled with a K.
Oh!
Okay, guys. Night of clubs.
What like?
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I'm
A
so
card?
into
Yeah, a card.
Like a
this.
playing
Card.
card.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was kind of imagining when you said the Bobby going around, and he'd take his nightstick, and when he clubs you with it, you start having a good time.
Oh, this sounds nice. I like him.
I like the Night of Clubs.
I mean, the Night of Clubs can still do that. He just assaults you and you have a good time. It just hits you on the head and you're like, "Woo, that was fun."
His name is Bobby.
His name is Bobby.
Oh.
Okay.
I think he is probably the district watch.
Neighborhood watch.
But watch.
Any other thoughts for neighbors?
Family of birds.
Some kind of bird family.
A potato.
You stuck me in a potato.
Why does the potato have a house? What does the potato do for a living?
I assume that this is a not sentient potato. This is just a potato.
Just a potato?
The life of a potato is complicated,
Does that count as a neighbor?
but also mysterious.
Sure.
Or a thing that's happening.
Or a thing that's happening?
If the potato is occupying the home next door to Malin,
I think the potato ended up there because they were part of a witness protection program
For the potato,
for
yeah.
the potato.
Potatoes have eyes.
Of course. They see everything. This potato's got secrets, man.
It is still not an animate potato, let's be
No.
clear.
Yeah, it just lays there. But you get the feeling like it's watching you.
Hey, Kat, can potatoes testify in a court of law? Sorry, that was an
Big
inside
podcast
joke.
crime.
Yep.
We have 4 neighbors to narrow this down from. We have a Dracula. I assume his name is the Count. And he's someone who just... He looks and acts exactly like you would expect Dracula to act. So much so that he's probably pretending.
but he seems to take it very seriously, so no one has the heart to ask.
I was wondering if because he's called the Count, like, is he a little OCD? Like, where he got his
Old
name?
school vampire myths say that vampires do very much have to count things.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a thing.
A little bit.
And since he adheres flawlessly to all vampire myths.
Simultaneously.
as many as he can simultaneously. Yes.
Except for sparkling.
That's not a myth.
Yeah, no, that's a literary convention.
It's a gross.
And it's a trademark of fairies.
True.
So we already have a place full of sparkling little bloodsuckers.
Yeah. My hood.
So that's one of our options. We have the white picket fence family. Like, totally normal, out there mowing the lawn, raising 3 kids. Just a totally normal suburban family. Totally idealized normal suburban family.
They're like a sitcom family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like retro sitcoms.
Yeah,
before
oh,
it
yeah,
became
yeah.
in vogue for sitcoms to be full of unlikable dirtbags.
So this is like pre-Full House, you're kind of saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very much. I Love Lucy.
Yeah, okay.
Leave It to Beaver.
No Married with Children shenanigans?
They're all quite charming, positive people, and at the end of the day, everything works out for them.
It's always sunny in the
Bastards.
Actuality.
Not in your neighborhood.
Then we have the Knight of Clubs,
Right?
Bobby. He's a local patrolman, and when he clubs people with his club, it's like they are at a club.
You see stars, and, there's music and lights. Cool.
And then we have a potato. That's all I wrote down for it.
Oh my god.
It's a potato.
I don't want to pick.
That's the problem. We have to pick 2 of these.
I want the potato. I want the potato so much.
I feel like I also want all of these people as like my across the street neighbors.
Yeah,
like
right.
I want all of them.
I mean, I'm willing to say that Bobby doesn't have to be your neighborhood. He can be a feature of the area.
Okay.
Because saying that the patrolmen around here club people with clubs and are, in fact, cards is fine. And that you happen to know Bobby.
Okay.
So that leaves us room
Potato.
to either have a Dracula
Uh-huh.
or the White Picket Fence family.
Oh, that's a hard one.
I want a Dracula. I want Lisa's neighbors to be a Dracula and a potato.
You live in the adult nonfiction section? Is this...
I like a Dracula for a character reason, and that's because you have trouble making friends, and the White Picket Fence family would be way too easy. They'd be so eager to be your friend. Whereas Dracula is a little more off-putting. Like, he'll stand outside of your home and want to be invited in. Not the kind of person you necessarily want as a friend.
So you're trying the potato is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably gonna go for the potato first.
Yeah.
Just knock on the door, see what happens.
Hello?
Hello?
yeah, your neighbors are hard to make friends with.
I did say that.
I mean, so it's the Dracula?
Nope, love it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, a Dracula and a potato.
Okay.
I like how it's not Dracula.
A
It's
Dracula.
a Dracula.
A Dracula. Yeah.
You can't stop me. I just come back stronger. Just you wait. I've got an ace up my sleeve.
Better than a potato?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, now some buildings or local locations.
A Blockbuster.
Love it.
I mean, possibly the only Blockbuster in the city? I don't
The
know.
only blockbuster in all of existence.
Yeah.
Sad. They posted
So,
that recently.
An interesting point with a Blockbuster, things like TVs aren't really a thing here. They don't work the same.
Right.
So what does this Blockbuster rent?
Jackhammers.
It's a tool store.
No, I'd like to think it's just like an all-purpose rental joint.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just rent whatever
Just
you
like,
need there.
if you need a jackhammer, you can rent it from Blockbuster, yeah. If you need any number of things for a limited time.
It's like Acme. Like
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote Acme. It's just,
Yeah.
But you can only
So-
take 5 things out at once.
and none of them work.
Late fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's late fees, it's rental, and in order to rent something from them, you have to ask for it phrased like a movie title,
Oh, there you go.
Take it?
Yeah, I like
because
it.
this is Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's Blockbuster.
So, if I may, Butt needles.
Cool. I had underlined it before because I had every intention of bringing it back.
Absolutely.
Boost your juice.
Everybody forgot about that one during my neighborhood, even though you threatened to put it in mine.
Yep.
And now I'm here to say butt needles.
Boost your juice.
It's in the mall.
No, it could be.
You're in the mall.
Yeah, everything's in the mall. It's infinite.
Okay. I'm bringing butt needles back into contention here. Any other interesting locations, hotspots around here?
This one might be too close to home, but a shoe, because there's playing cards around. Playing cards go in a shoe. Do they not? Am I incorrect?
So that would be like the equivalent of a police station around here.
It's just a shoe.
But yeah.
Yeah, like an actual shoe.
Yeah, like an actual shoe. Or it could be a card shoe. I don't know.
It's kind of like it as a card shoe,
Yeah.
and then just like the cops get drawn
Yeah,
out
they
of
just...
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
One of those
Yeah,
automatic
putting that down.
healers.
Oh, yeah. It just goes nuts and, like, shuffles a whole bunch of cops in the middle
They're
of the
looking
air.
at getting a rotary shuffler installed, but they know none of the card capitals would be back to the neighborhood if they install it.
Sometimes when the rats are up to no good, they set it to 52 pickup.
Horrible. Love it. A rocket ship. It crashed, so it's nose down.
Just one rocket ship or a rocket ship graveyard?
That's really cool. I'm putting that
No,
down.
the rocket ship graveyard is very good, and I love it. And yes, that's absolutely...
I'm mildly afraid of your moon now. You can talk to the moon, but you cannot visit.
Yeah. Fuck off.
The moon is with us in our hearts. We don't need to go visit. And if we try, we've been sent a stern reminder of what will happen. Of the frailties of our mortal flesh.
Gonna lump the cop shoe in with Bobby, and that's just gonna be
Sure.
its own thing.
Yep.
Cool. It's in. Great.
I love cop shoe, yeah.
Especially because I don't imagine you visiting the card shoe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that'll... I think that's just like a side note of something that's around. Is there anything else we wanted to chime in before we press on to the next part? Next up is local issues or local events. What's happening around here?
There was a new crash in the rocket ship graveyard recently.
Putting it down. Anything peculiar about this crash?
It doesn't appear to have been inhabited. It seems empty already. Usually there's like screaming and horrible injuries and urgent rescue missions. But this time they prepared themselves for the very urgent rescue mission of saving the people's lives to find that it was already uninhabited by the time it came to the rocket ship graveyard. Or at least that's how it appears.
I imagine situationally Malin has people over and then you hear thump, crash, screaming, and fire! And it's like, what's that? Oh, that just happens sometimes.
Yeah. Just the rocket ship.
I also like the idea, first of all, that there are rocket ships.
Yes.
Because I guess that's canon now.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, that all the rocket ships crash here.
Just all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think that anywhere else there's a rocket ship. Anyone
Yeah.
who assembles a rocket ship and tries to fly crashes
It
here.
crashes there.
Okay, everybody gets one, and I'm cashing mine in right now. Rocket Ship Graveyard is my band name.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm forbidden from using that gag for the rest of the podcast, but...
Anything else for local events? What's going on around here?
Well, there's a police presence. And there's a giant hardware store, so people must be robbing the hardware store.
Oh, the Blockbuster.
The Blockbuster, yes.
Yeah, I
sorry.
was like, hardware
Hardware
store?
store. Sorry, the Blockbuster.
I didn't write down a hardware store.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the Blockbuster is also a library.
Yep.
It's a place where you go to borrow things.
But
True.
yeah, we can say that there's robberies where people are trying to pick off the Blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
They're out to get the
to
blockbuster.
get the Blockbusters.
Blockbuster is a massive, indomitable store that will definitely never go under.
Guys,
No,
what happened to Blockbuster?
couldn't-
What happened to Blockbuster?
Couldn't possibly collapse.
And that street gang's name was Netflix.
Show.
Show.
It's always banging with you. You always have to take it to a fucking place. But I'm taking it to a place about commentary on the rise of the internet and how it's affected the institutions that shaped our childhood and our upbringing.
Yeah, you should definitely not talk to me about Blockbuster and Netflix.
And you had to take it to a fucking place.
Because your commentary was really obvious.
Yeah.
It's like, let's talk about water. Sure is wet.
You can take that to a fucking place? Lisa?
It's already wet. How can I improve on that? Do not sex me.
I have never once even tried.
And yet it keeps happening.
Okay. There are people robbing the Blockbusters. I haven't put down who's robbing the Blockbusters, but there can be rumors that it's a roving band of Netflix enthusiasts.
There's also a rumor that it is a potato.
A potato might be the mastermind behind the thefts.
A masked potato.
Love it. Very.
Just like Zorro the potato.
There's some serious concern that a potato is just a fall guy.
You guys, it's not the potato. Like, it's a potato. Like, people have seen a potato at the crime scene, but they can't prove it's the potato that lives next door to Malin.
Was there like a lineup
Do all
of
potatoes look alike to you? Like,
Every once in a while, the cards just come around. Like, have you seen this potato?
yeah, but they're only looking at it with one eye.
Yeah, because they're always like profile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of them have
Yeah,
two
so
eyes on.
some of the cards have two eyes, don't they?
But not the Knight of Clubs, because that's not a real card.
All right. So unless there's anything else, we're gonna move on.
Mm.
Cool. What was your favorite?
A potato.
A potato. No doubt.
Obviously, it was a potato.
Touchdown!
I'm so sorry. I wanted it to be something else,
Block.
but it
So-
was definitely a potato.
It's good.
Was a potato yours? I thought it was
Yeah.
Dave's for some
It was
reason.
No.
Dave just really
That was-
liked it.
That was your trump card, wasn't it?
No, my trump card was butt needles.
Oh, butt nails, that's right.
Right, booster juice.
Now we get to go through and find out how Melon feels about these things. Step 1. A Dracula.
I feel good about him. I feel like he's got a story to tell, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if he'll tell it to me, but there's a mystery.
There's something to learn about a Dracula.
Yes.
Always going after the dark and mysterious types.
So
I'm about to.
I'd said before
I
that
know he's a potato.
I'd said before that his name would be the Count, but should his name be a Dracula?
A Dracula.
Okay. I'm just gonna.
Wait,
His
is
name
it-
also Arthur?
Is it, a Dracula, or is it, Dracula?
His name is Uther, but he calls himself Dracula.
Dracula.
I am a Dracula.
There you go. Yeah.
Love it. Very good.
A Dracula's a positive influence on you. A potato.
I'm going to say neutral. I feel like
I wanted you to spin it either direction, like, just go for
it was
it.
going to be
neutral
positive. Definitely wanted to know his story. But I'm afraid there's like a darkness to this story, that there's some sort of witness protection, and what if he's a murderer? And I don't know if I want to know his story, is what I'm saying.
Killing potato, yeah.
I also think that the potato has a larger house than the other people on the block.
It's
Yeah.
a nice house.
Yeah. Really nice house, of course.
But, like, you can't say things like, how does a potato afford that kind of house? Because that is,
Vegetableist?
I mean,
Also, it won't respond to you.
absolutely.
That is a rude question, and it will not respond to you.
Yeah.
And that's why.
So, potato is neutral. Blockbuster location where you can rent anything and it needs to be phrased like you're renting a movie.
I love it. I love having everything accessible to me for rent.
The late fees are atrocious.
They are the worst. I make sure to bring stuff back on time.
Boost your juice.
I feel like neutral. I've never been there. Not a fan.
The local cops. The clubs.
Well, I'm friends with one of them, Billy, and I am a fan. Positive. Can I change the last one to negative? I feel like the booster juice is bringing in sort of a bad crowd.
Yeah.
Those juicers.
So, can we, as the arbiters of what else is happening in this neighborhood, decide whether Bobby is okay with being called Billy?
Love it.
We'll definitely touch on that.
I know, right?
I'm waiting for it.
The rocket ship graveyard.
Such a good band name.
It is such a good band name.
Neutral. It's largely startling, but in no other way is it negative.
The recent uninhabited rocket ship that crashed into the graveyard. I like to think that a rocket ship crashing in there is a pretty rare event.
Yes.
It's happened a few times, but you don't usually see new rocket ships.
That said, absolutely positive. That sounds wonderful. I want to know everything about it. How did it crash? Why did it crash? What is a rocket ship? Where did it come from?
The thefts of the local blockbusters.
Negative. Don't want theft in my neighborhood.
Perfect. That ends up giving you a joy with one more positive than negative.
Yay.
All you happy motherfuckers.
Just means to level up, bad shit has to happen to us.
Yeah, that's true.
That finishes that section of things. The next thing you guys get to do is figure out how you know each
Hello,
other.
Benji.
There's a list of examples in the key, and they come with mechanical benefits.
Oh, spaghetti.
Ooh.
Should I have studied this?
No, I'm going to bring it up right now. The different bonds in here. There's close friends, fated companions, fellow students, friends from the past, housemates, lovers, a mystic bond, relatives, rivals, shadow friends, so friends from shadow, soulmates. I should clarify that soulmates mean something different in this setting. That means that it is someone who shares the same soul as you, and you've revealed your souls to each other. Stewardship, an unrequited bond, and that's the list.
It's a pretty good list.
My concept for Only Rachel and Malin was actually friends from Shadow. Malin was librarian, and Only Rachel was a teacher of small children. So, like, trips to the library are pretty common when you teach small
Yeah,
kids.
Absolutely, that
She
makes
got
sense.
to know the library.
See, that's funny, because I was going to say the same thing. Given that we are both from England, and one of my major haunts was libraries,
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite likely that I would remember her from Shadow.
See, and I was thinking I would be in the neighborhood to go to Blockbuster. I don't know what bond is appropriate to like.
Is someone you've just bumped into sometimes?
Yeah, slightly. Because you're not a particularly outgoing, friendly person.
That wouldn't be a bond yet. You
Yeah,
don't need to
yeah.
have a bond with everyone to start, but we should have enough that it makes the group
Okay.
easy to tie together.
Okay.
Okay.
But you can say it's like, oh yeah, we've seen each other.
So should we be writing these down in our PC bonds?
Is that where
Yes,
Yeah.
this is the PC bonds. This is to omit the scene where you all meet in a bar and decide to go on an adventure together. This is to make that a little bit more natural.
We
You
all
guys
meet in a nightclub.
and have to get out together.
I think just Rachel and the professor are rivals. I don't think the professor remembers her from Shadow. And given her largely outgoing nature and his largely inverted nature, I think they butt heads quite a bit.
Cool.
She's trying her very, very hardest. We're gonna be best friends. You absolute fucker. We're gonna be the best of friends.
He calls you my friend. It
Yes.
is through gritted teeth.
Yay!
So we still need an actual bond to come out of 11th Street.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Come on, 11th Street.
Can you go over the
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Close friends, fated companions. Actually, this is one that you could do with Malin if you want.
Hmm.
You're not friends, but the two of you seem to keep bumping into each other. You just seem to be at the same place constantly.
That could work.
That works for me. We're not necessarily, like, interacting, but it's like, hey, that guy looks familiar.
Yeah, it-
like I've seen her before.
It seems like preordained that the two of you always keep bumping into each other.
Malin, de facto group leader.
Okay, here we go. Relatives. Cousins.
Us?
Yeah.
Oh dear. In actuality or shadow?
In actuality.
In actuality.
But then wouldn't you know things because he doesn't remember things from his past?
Yeah, I don't know who I am, necessarily.
And as a relative,
Oh,
you
yeah.
would know quite a bit about him.
Yeah, no, that went through my head, too, and I was like, oh, wait, I don't know.
Yeah, your bonds
That's
need to be
really-
things that are fairly recent, I think.
Your branch of the family is estranged.
And how would you know that you're family?
I mean, we find out with magic. I got nothing. With magic is going to be definitely my kind of safety hatch.
But, sorry, I was going over the list again.
Yeah.
So there was close friends, fated companions, fellow students, friends from the past, housemates, lovers, mystic bond, relatives, rivals, shadow friends, soulmates, stewardship, and an unrequited bond.
What is mystic bond?
So the mystic bond, two characters linked by a deep magical connection. Magic flows from one character to the other. This is one of the rarest, but one of the most potent of all bonds, and only two characters can be a part of this bond. Mechanically, what it does, it increases the level of spells and abilities. Yeah, when you're affecting the other person, it makes your spell stronger. But if either of you take damage, both of you take damage.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, I was kind of keen on it up until that part, because you're a Goetic and I'm possessed by
Yeah.
Legion, but...
But when you came back, you didn't have a place to stay. Eventually, you found 11th Street. But you guys could have been roommates.
That works.
You
live in
came in as a mail order roommate.
I
Yeah.
like it. So former roommates?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Damn.
I've written it the number 11 superscript TNTH. I'm like,
Oh, you're asking about spelling?
yeah, that's how I'm spelling it, and I've abbreviated street to ST.
That's fine with him. I have it written out as all words, but yeah, he doesn't expect everyone to even call him by his full name.
Some people just drop the street.
I mean, I imagine some people might just call him like 11.
You are definitely Mr. Street.
Mr. Street. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Roomy.
Roomy? Oh, okay.
Like, you have not lived in the mailbox for a long time. You're roomy. You're always going to be roomy in my heart.
Mr. Street, Roomy, and that guy.
Hey, you.
Yeah, hey you.
So, is everyone satisfied with their bonds?
Yeah, because we don't need to all be linked.
We don't
right?
need to all be linked, but we should have enough links that it's like, okay, it makes sense these people are in the same spot.
So do we need anything?
That might help.
Lovers, lovers, lovers.
In a dangerous time.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Wow. I promised myself I wouldn't do any weird inter-party romance.
What is the
because that's not a
unrequited
thing I ever
bond?
do.
Never one time.
Never one
Never.
time.
One character would like to be closely bonded with the other, possibly romantically, perhaps just in friendship, but the other does not share this feeling. This bond only affects one of the PCs.
Yeah, where would a library hobo and a guy who lives in an enchanted forest cross paths?
I mean, you might go to the
I mean,
library.
what if we were fated? We just kept bumping into each other.
You'd be fated with two people.
Oh, another fated... Yeah, that can work. Well, because his foundation is connected. So he just,
Okay, yeah.
like, runs into people all the time, maybe.
Hello.
See, and one of the things I was thinking is, I don't know how much it's that, like, he recognizes people, or how much it's that the demons recognize people.
Ooh.
And, like, he just gets that deja vu sense, right?
I'm
Okay.
satisfied with that.
Yep. Okay.
If we change our minds, we can still sub things out before the first session.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you guys, you could be rivals, but the unrequited bond actually works out pretty well for it. With you really
Yeah.
want to be friends with the professor, and
yeah.
he's just like, no.
That does work.
Simultaneously, the professor really considers us rivals, and I do not. So, like, we can both take unrequited bond. They're just not at all
Not
the
the
same
same.
one. That we're...
But just as a thought, you guys don't need to change it. You can be rivals if you want to.
I actually like that one because, although I can use my character voice to call Dave a fucker, but I can't imagine only Rachel calling the professor a fucker.
Professor Fuckface?
Professor Fuckface is very good, but I'm catting it
I
now.
will call the professor a fucker.
Actually, it's Doctor. A Doctor Fucker.
Hey, Dr. Fuck Potato.
Ah, we've devolved into nothing. We've reached the end of the podcast.
We're close. We just have one more thing to figure out with the group.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
The
Yes.
Satans that live in this man.
We should work that out, but I wouldn't mind that coming along in gameplay.
Sure. It's host the Legion, not host the One, so...
As far as I'm concerned, we can each have whatever kind of demon we want to be in that head.
Great.
Y'all stay the fuck out of my head. I mean, come on in.
But the next one is largely to help me, and that's we need to pick one thing that would motivate all four of you to do a thing. And to give an example list here: money, power, information, allies, travel, altruism. But the idea is that, hey, what should my plot hook be?
I feel like information works best. I know that your character's interested in the functioning of the actuality, and I know that I have put down that Malin desperately wants to be a part of a cool story that people tell, right?
And only Rachel has got kind of a pursuit of novelty going on. She likes things that are peculiar and interesting, so there's a curiosity that means new situations are a motivator.
Does
And
information
everyone looks
work
at
for...
me.
Yeah.
Peer pressure works for you, right?
Well, not as much as you might think.
Nothing.
Information definitely could work. I don't think it would be the same thing as the professor is seeking, necessarily.
Oh, no, you don't need to be seeking the same information.
Yeah.
Because, for example, do you know how you're going to fix up the subway?
Nope.
I was going to say, you're at the library looking up books on
Oh,
subways.
subways. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, no, I don't know how I'm going to fix Subway. I don't know who's in my head. I don't know my name. I don't know...
There's lots of things you might want to learn.
Yes.
Although they'll probably be different things than for what other people want to learn.
Exactly.
I imagine similar to when you Google a thing, you go to the library to find out how to fix a subway, and you keep coming up with sub shops. How to start, manage, or maintain a sub shop.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many around the library.
Yeah.
Somebody recently made a really informative WikiHow article.
That would have been such a great neighborhood quirk. The things that people look up in the library just, start appearing in the neighborhood.
That's very interesting,
Yeah.
and I might throw that in somewhere.
Okay.
That seems great for one for the professor, since he's library-based.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
That wraps this session.
We did it.
Yay!
Woo! I guess, hooray, good job, everyone.
Thanks, Terrence.
Thank you, Terrence, and anyone else who may have been tricked into clicking on this and then forgot to turn it off.
No.
Yeah.
If we get more than one person listening, the collective noun for our audience is Terrence.
Oh, I love it. I did start a subreddit. It is Truth Among Heart, or Truth Hidden Among Heart, because the last S did not fit.
Oh,
So
shit.
I was also thinking of then making the one with the acronym, so the THAH.
Yeah.
Thank you to whoever decided to join us for the character creation episode of Truth Hidden Among Hearts.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.